What is happening, my Block Buddies? Today we have some awesome virtual reality news because, yeah, we didn't really think that it would happen, and now it kind of looks like that it will kind of sort of maybe happen. The Nintendo Switch is on everybody's mind, and we're kind of wondering, where's Nintendo going with this whole VR hype, right? Because PlayStation is doing it, for sure Xbox is looking to do it, and we already know that the HTC 5 and stuff like that, they're already doing awesome work. But it's kind of being left in the dust these past few months, right? We're not hearing all that much about VR anymore, and people are getting less and less excited about it. But it kind of feels like Nintendo has this sort of perfect opportunity with the Switch to dive into that. And I know what you guys are thinking, it's been a while since that Nintendo disaster. You guys remember what I'm talking about? The Virtual Boy? The Virtual Boy was this weird, clunky, kind of red and black new system that Nintendo was trying out, and ultimately it failed massively. It even gave people sort of, headaches and stuff like that. The world wasn't really ready for VR, and I think the world is pretty ready at this point, but we don't really have that perfect experience at this moment, right? We don't have the perfect game for it right now. We don't have the perfect system for it right now. And that could all change with Nintendo coming to the forefront with some VR stuff. So I'm actually excited about this because the news that we actually have comes from Business Insider. And Business Insider, yeah, they talk about a lot of cool things. They talk about, the gear, the games, and today they talk about Nintendo and maybe possibly having some sort of support in terms of virtual reality, which I would be very excited about. So this article actually says, Business Insider, it sure looks like Nintendo's next video game console will support virtual reality. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit, right? Because I have never once in my life thought Nintendo will really do VR. I mean, it doesn't really fit most of their franchises all that well. I think it fits Metroid most of all, I think that would be really amazing to have a Metroid game that is virtual reality and that works. But on the other hand, if you think about Mario, maybe Mario Kart would work, maybe some sort of weird minigame would work. But yeah, The Legend of Zelda is the same. You don't really want to do a first-person Zelda, right? You want to play as Link. You want to, have it be third person like Breath of the Wild is. So I am not really in favor of, doing something with VR because I don't think that it will do Nintendo's franchises all that much good. But however, there seems to be a bit of news surfacing, right? So the article says just over 20 years ago, Nintendo released its least successful game console ever. And I think they mean, aside from the Wii U. I'm not gonna get into that. That's a discussion for another time. I'm sorry for that one. It's the least successful game console ever, the Virtual Boy. And I, of course, mentioned this before. The Virtual Boy was, pretty disappointing. And it says it was a red and black monstrosity with mostly terrible games. I think they were pretty much all terrible, and they looked terrible as well. All the games were colored in either red or black or both, and it felt very weird. If you look up some footage about the Virtual Boy, you'll know what I mean. It's very strange, and it didn't catch on, not at all. And the VR craze is now, so it gotta make you wonder, is Nintendo gonna get in on that? And the article goes on to say the console was quickly scrapped in favor of more traditional hardware like Nintendo 64 and GameCube. So we get a little bit of a look on the Virtual Boy, which looks very weird and kind of looks like sort of a camera setup almost. It's just strange to me. But in the past few years, virtual reality has re-emerged as a viable medium. Headsets from Google, Facebook, and Samsung are all commercially available right now. Most notably, Nintendo's two main competitors, Sony and Microsoft, are making major investments in VR. And they're right, the big players, Sony and Microsoft, they are making, a lot of headway with doing VR stuff. And I think Sony is actually hitting it on the mark. Sony is doing really well with VR, especially with stuff like Star Wars. I've seen a Star Wars thing that Sony's putting together with DICE, I believe, and that's just insane. Being in those space battles with VR just enhances that experience even more, and I can't wait to try that out for myself. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not necessarily only a Nintendo fanboy. Definitely, if there's some cool game on some cool system, I will for sure check it out. And that very awesome Battlefront Star Wars VR thing, that sounds amazing to me. Also, the Batman VR thing sounds very amazing to me. So, can't wait to test that out. The only thing that I have tested out with VR on a very cool occasion was Game of Thrones VR, which was very cool. You were, being heisted up the wall, actually, which was really scary because there were all these fire arrows coming to your face, and I tried to dodge them with my face. So, yeah, that was me trying out some VR. But I am kind of scared that they are, cornering Nintendo and saying, we got this, you don't have to try that VR thing. And that would be sad because I think that Nintendo at least has, needs the chance to try it, I think that maybe they can prove me wrong, with all my naysaying and saying, it doesn't fit their franchises. Maybe they can show me, like they've shown with Super Mario Run, that even though the odds are stacked against them, they can come out on top. And, I mentioned Super Mario Run because that game, I've tried it out, the past couple of days, and it is insane. It's so cool, it's so fun, it's quick, and it's just like a Mario game. You play it with one finger, It's insane, and I think that, maybe they can prove that VR can be very much Nintendo. So the article goes on to say Sony's PlayStation VR headset launched in October. It's powered by the most popular game console in the world, the PlayStation 4. Well, that's arguably right, because the Switch, is pretty hype. Anyway, in 2017, Microsoft is planning to launch a far more powerful Xbox One, currently dubbed Project Scorpio. That console will be capable of powering high-end VR headsets. The expectation is that Facebook's Oculus Rift headset will work with Project Scorpio, but nothing specific has been announced just yet. But that leaves Nintendo, right? I mean, what are Nintendo going to do? So, it actually says that the company's next console, the Nintendo Switch, is set to arrive in March of 2017. It's a home console, portable console hybrid. The idea is that, of course, you can play games at home, and you do on, say, the bus or to work. It's rumored to be nearly as powerful as the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. More on that later, by the way. We have a very cool video coming up about that. The gimmick of the Switch is its detachable screen. The screen itself is the console, processing and all. It's basically a tablet with a bunch of peripherals. I don't feel like it's a tablet, but I'll read on for you. You attach the screen to two Joy-Con controllers, Joy-Con boys, and it becomes a portable console. Or you slide out the kickstand and use the controllers as gamepads, each in one hand. Or you slide the screen into a dock at home and it becomes a home console. Or, and here it comes, guys, get ready, apparently you slide the screen into a VR headset and it becomes a full-on virtual reality head-mounted display. So that I didn't see coming. It's kind of the dock, but it's on your face, and that is awesome. It's not just some fan art thing, it's that image comes from a recently published patent which Nintendo filed back in June of 2016. The patent seemingly details the tablet at the heart of Nintendo Switch, the way that it connects to a home console dock, and the way that it connects the Joy-Con controllers to become a portable gamepad. And then, in the final example of the images of how the device could work, a headset is shown with a Switch tablet being slid into it. And the corresponding text is pretty fascinating. So this is the official patent text, okay? It says Figure 60. The headset patent drawing is a diagram showing an example of HMD head-mounted display accessory to which the main unit, the Switch, can be attached. An HMD accessory, to be described below as an example accessory, can be used as a so-called HMD head-mounted display with the main unit attached thereto. So, to quickly translate that jargon into English, the text description of the headset image directly identifies it as a VR headset, an HMD, that can be used by slotting the Switch tablet into the front. For comparison, kind of like Samsung's Gear VR, that works similarly. Your Galaxy phone becomes the device powering the VR, and the screen used to see it through the lens of a peripheral headset. So there's a ton more text about the headset in the patent, from how it can detect movement using the sensory already built into the Switch tablet, to how the Joy-Con gamepads can be used as controllers for the headset, and how the headset has lenses built into it that will widen images for VR use. All that said, guys, patents aren't necessarily plans. Hardware companies like Apple and Nintendo publish patents regularly, and often those patents lead to absolutely nothing. It's entirely possible that this is little more than an idea, and if nothing else, it hints at a potential unannounced feature of the Switch. Everything else detailed in the patent has already been revealed as actual plans for the Nintendo Switch, which is cool because might this actually work? I don't know, really. A representative for Nintendo offered the following statement to Business Insider saying, "We have no comment regarding this patent matter." So, yeah, they're just saying, nope, we're not talking. Anyway, I am excited about VR. I think that Nintendo could possibly do something cool with it. And if it just means we'll get a great Metroid game in VR, I am so down for that. I wonder what you guys are thinking, so leave a comment down below and tell me, are you excited for some Nintendo VR? Have you ever tried VR, and what are your expectations for, VR taking over the Mushroom Kingdom or Hyrule or anything like that? Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. This was Blocked Content, and there is a subscribe button right here. Somewhere, it's the red thing down there. It says subscribe. Anyway, if you click it, you instantly become part of our family. So it's like a very cool family tree button. Just if you press it, you just become part of it. Awesome. Just click it, and we'll see you guys around the corner, where there's always more Nintendo Switch patent news.